What would you do if you could not see your partner face to face for over a year?
Welcome to the Journey to Forever podcast, where we discuss the highs and lows of life and love. Join us, your hosts, Flo and
Joe,
for a weekly recalculation of our roots as we navigate the twists and turns with candid conversation, comfort food, and laughter.
Welcome back, Forever Family. I hope you are well. If you are a new listener, thanks for joining us. Be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss future episodes. I'm Flo, the recovering over lover, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Joe.
Yes, the overly shy, sometimes overly patient prince of mine. Each week, we are sharing fun date ideas to help you keep the spark alive during this pandemic. You know, I know a lot of people are taking liberties now that the vaccine is circulating, but Joe and I are still playing it on the safe side. As we are recording this episode, we just marked 1 year since the World Health Organization declared the Carona Virus Pandemic. So today, we will be discussing love in the time of Carona. But we usually start each episode with a segment called What's Your Story? But for today's episode, I wanted to highlight the story of this sweet couple that I saw on the news that I just have to tell you about, because he and I haven't discussed it before.
Alright. This
is the story of Kay and Orlin Wentz. They spent their last year in separate nursing homes in Nebraska. But after the couple, who have been together for over 50 years, people. 50 years, imagine that, 50 years.
Longer than I've been alive.
You understand? So they both got the coronavirus vaccine, and then Orlin surprised Kay with flowers at her nursing home. The video of them seeing each other in their wheelchairs was just so adorable. Like, oh! he pulling up and they, being mushy in their way, it was just too sweet. If you haven't seen it, you need to go check it out.
Alright, I'm going to check out.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you think, you? You think you would have coped with this entirely?
That would be hard. That would be very, very, very hard. That will be boring, actually. You'll have to find things to occupy your time.
Yeah.
To basically, it might sound bad, but kind of take my mind off of you.
No, I get that.
Find stuff to do.
Yeah, because otherwise you just sit down and frustrate yourself. I wonder
what Flo doing. Yeah. So yeah. It would become a bit annoying.
Yeah, for me it would be frustrating because yes, I know I have indicated in past episodes that I love my alone time, but I do enjoy spending time with you. That's why he's my person. So I can't imagine not being able to see him for an entire year. Kay and Orlin, that's why you together 50 years, because your love only that strong.
Yeah. Remember, after 50 years, they have basically nothing they don't know about each other.
Yeah.
So, and being in nursing homes, it will be tough, but they know, okay, I'm going to see her. That is their, how will I say?
The hope.
Their being for every day. You know? Soon, let's get this vaccine and see her again.
That's what they're looking forward to.
That's what they look forward to.
Yeah. Thankfully, we, however, were able to spend time together during lockdown in the early stages of the pandemic. So, babe, what's your favorite story of that time when we were quarantining together during lockdown?
My story about that was working together, working together. You not being too far away.
Mm-hmm.
We had times where we would be in separate rooms, but it was comforting having you sitting just across from me, and there's people I harass her a lot, I would just get up and do random nonsense, silly little dances and That was the fun part. The time of itself was enjoyable. It was the key. It was everything. I really enjoyed it.
I agree. To me, that's some of my favorite time with you thus far. You know, a lot of people were scared at the outset, and myself included. Like, I remember, honestly, like one night, very, very early, we were going to sleep, and tears were just streaming on my face. And you turned over to me, like, what is wrong? I was like, babe, I'm scared. I remember, like, literally saying that to you, like, and then we just held hands and prayed. So for me, one of my favorite memories is that one, but something very similar where at one point in time after lockdown, you went back to work, or was it just before the lockdown? But I remember you coming home. We went for a walk that evening, and you were telling me like about a case that happened at work.
Oh yeah.
You heard whispers about it, and listen to me. I was like, in my mind, that just stands out because I was so anxious, but at the same time grateful that you were in my life. Like, I remember being able to have that conversation with you and express to you, like, babe, I want you to be careful. You know? But it was nice that you allowed me to, like, express my anxiety, and then you were just reassuring me that, hey, I ain't crazy, I ain't stupid, I'll be careful.
No, you know, I am not the panicking type. It takes a lot to get me to panic. So I take every day as it comes. You know? So I wasn't too worried. And so she did the worrying for the both of us. And I just reassured her that just another day, we'll move on. I know that's who she is, and I was flattered to have someone worry about me like that.
Yeah. Well, like you said, things 1 year later are looking more positive. We have the vaccines around. But even though vaccines are being distributed, like I said, we are choosing to avoid non-essential socializing.
Yeah.
Just do what is absolutely necessary. So that's why our date idea for today is, reading romance novels. As I would have mentioned in the season 2 trailer, I'm a fan of books. I'm a fan of romance novels. I'm a fan of, yes.
Fan is an understatement.
Okay, I think I love espionage more than romance novels, but I like a good romance novel, you know? It's good. So for today, you and I would be reading excerpts, just a few lines, from a book called The Left of Love by Love Belvin. And we're just going to allow those lines to like spark some conversation. Because one of the things that I love as I've matured is to read romance novels through and look at it through a different lens. Like when you were younger and inexperienced, wasn't in a serious relationship, always like all fantasy and you think it's going to be perfect. Now that I've lived a bit and I have a taste of the real world of relationship, for me it's fun to just evaluate the romance novels based on that experience.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Let's go.
So, get it into my first excerpt. While we waiting here, I asked with a screwed face, trying to make contact with my new baby daddy. Alyssa spoke through one side of her mouth, her eyes trained ahead to the door. Mr. Beckwith, Alyssa called, raising her butter pecan digits in the air, fingers curved delicately. Hey, over here. He strolled over to us, chin still low. What's up? He asked, his voice flat, unlike how it was with the professor earlier. Well, Alyssa began, I know it's still early in September and all, but I hear Professor Dre can be fair as long as we don't BS and miss deadlines. I thought we could exchange numbers to set up a meeting time for our first group discussion. The delivery was honeyed with feminine allure. Isaac snorted, one side of his mouth curved higher than the other. Alright, give me your phone. Alyssa pulled it from her bountiful cleavage practically before his 6 syllables were up. They watched raptly and quietly as he typed his number in her phone, taking his time doing so. When he was done, he stood still, seemingly with his eyes roaming randomly down the hall. Within seconds, his phone dinged and he retrieved it from the pocket of his jeans that were low on his hips from how loose-fitting they were. He tapped into it a few times before nodding and pivoting to walk off. Before he did, he brushed eyes with me, but in a quick, cool, and unimpressed way. Isaac stalked off as easily as he joined us. I swallowed hard, wondering what that look was for exactly. It was uncouth and loaded with something else. That was hot, right? Alyssa exclaimed breathlessly as she twisted around to face us. Now, for some context, that was Kennedy, the female protagonist in this story. And yeah, she's just chilling with her homegirls in the corridor of their college. And they're Alyssa is trying to gain the attention of this new guy in a class called Isaac. So for me, I found it interesting because Alyssa was determined, as you may have heard in the lines that I just read, she was determined to make Isaac her baby daddy, as she said. So my question to you, Joe, is, how do you feel about women making first moves?
I have no problem with that. I have no problem with a woman making the first move. Yeah, that is not a problem with me. But some men, it's the way you do it. You know, she comes across pretty, for a modern term, tasty.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the guy, I believe, Isaac picked up on that.
Right.
So this is liable to only go a certain way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not the way she wants it.
No. Because she starts out, she don't want to be his friend, she wants to be his baby mama. So, alright, that's tasty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's my view on that.
Yeah, I agree. I think as a woman, you're free to make the first move, but it must be done tastefully, not thirstily. Tastefully. Yeah. Because sometimes, admittedly, guys could be clueless. You know, I have guy friends, so you'd say, hey, that girl checking you. And you're like, what were you talking about? She's just so and so. And like, no, watch the woman body language. Like, what she's saying to you. Like, she clearly dropping hints there and not picking up.
Yeah, that's us men. We're not into the body language and this, that, and the other. Because, remember, if we misread these body language, you know, that could go wrong and we could catch a case.
Yes.
You know, so we can take hints.
Yeah. So, try to be clear, but not tasty, like I said. Tasteful, but not tasty. And I said just get to know the person. You would know things like if you've spoken to the person or been around the person for a while, they get to know what they like and just find some way to strike up that common interest.
Well, clearly she did not even know the guy from Adam.
No, because he literally just walked into the car.
So, yeah, and she was thinking babies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you're young, that's how you think. That's why I say, like, for me now, watching this, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember your teenage days, like, you know, you see a cute guy and you're like, he's cute. Who he? Right? but mature Flo will be like, alright. You know, it's not that there's no enthusiasm, but you learn to pace yourself differently.
Improve that enthusiasm.
I definitely curbed my enthusiasm. Okay, so next passage.
Abigail, she's interesting. She's very, very interesting. She's forward. Yeah. She's not playing games. She knows what she wants and she's going after it.
Sometimes you gotta take the lead, man. Alright, so next excerpt. Alyssa went to make copies of my notes. I informed Isaac, who sat down and slid open my open 3-ring binder over to look at it. It was a playful gesture. His eyes were soft, but he didn't speak. I glanced over to Trina just in time to find her roller eyes over to Isaac's friend. Hell yeah, the tall guy huffed. I need some and a big ass spliff. Twinkle's head flew from the table, as did her meaty shoulders. Her slanted chocolate eyes looked about to pop out of their sockets. And you are? The tall guy turned toward the table. What? I asked. Who you are? This is a private meeting amongst classmates. Last I checked, you weren't on any of the rosters. The guy screwed his face and peered down to a sitting Isaac. Good. Yes. Who is this B? My N. B? I leaped from my seat. Whoa. Alyssa barely got her cup on the table before she went to drink her. What the hell? I'm laughing at this, right? Because this reminds me of something that I've personally experienced in my life. So my question based on this is like, have you ever had to deal with conflict between your friends and your partner's friends or somebody you're checking for friends?
No, I've never had that problem. No, never had that problem. Was anybody I've been in a relationship with? For me, they didn't have many friends. They had a few friends, but we were cool.
Okay, but they and your partners, few friends didn't have like problems with like friends or anything.
Until me and these people are no longer together, but her friends are now my friends. We're still friends, and I don't even speak to these people, the other party anymore.
Okay.
But me and her friends, we stay cool.
Okay. Well, I remember like a former close friend of mine always had beef with this guy who like really liked me. I didn't understand it. Like, it used to be somebody wear his stuff. Like, I'd be over there talking to somebody, and all of a sudden, I would hear raised voices like, what's going on? When I look over to the hubbub, like, but why both all your beefing though? You know? So it was the weirdest thing for me, because I hated being the one in the middle, because I was the common party between the both of them. And it was uncomfortable, like, having to choose, like, you know, whose side do I take? But I couldn't clearly take any sides. So to me, that was uncomfortable.
Was your friend right?
No, she had no reason to be upset with the guy. It used to be, that's the thing, like, to this day, I don't understand what her beef was with him. Like, I have no idea.
Well, I guess some people just don't get along. As we say here in local parlance, the blood didn't take him.
Yeah, it was like, Yeah, so for me, I mean, if you follow us on Instagram, you know that last Tuesday, I spoke on the whole Harry and Meghan thing, like truths that I gleaned from that interview with Oprah. And one of the things for me is that you must choose a relationship every time. I was not in a relationship with that guy, like I said. The guy liked me. We liked each other. But for me, what I've learned is that if you and I are in a relationship, if any of my friends have an issue with you, And I don't see what they have the issue, that issue that they supposedly have, like, it's not a big deal to me. No, hell no. I'm sorry. We have to politely agree to disagree on that. Because my relationship comes first. That's the way I see it.
If it have any relevance.
Yeah, because it might be just a personality thing, right? But then you have to spend forever with him. So I just know, okay, we need to keep some distance between you all.
Yeah.
If I go and hang out with this friend, then I'll be like, hey, babe, I'm going to hang out with you and so, and that's it. Like, the parts don't need to cross and whatever.
Yeah. You're not invited to the wedding.
Oh, right. But that was just sticking. Yeah, enjoy it, right?
No, but let's go.
Yeah, I know you're up for playing this game with me.
All right, let's see. Who am I playing?
So you're reading from the perspective of Isaac.
I am Isaac.
Yeah.
Player.
Yeah.
26. Miss Texas. I muttered to myself. I didn't even include the calls. I took in the cool night breeze as I scrolled through the log. What? Excuse me, it's called log?
Yeah.
One text caught my attention. It was the first text I missed today. I wanted to be the first to say, happy birthday, birthday twin. I pray God grants you a very special wish today. By the way, wouldn't it be cool to celebrate one together? Either way, here's to many to come. As signed by Kennedy. I chuckled to myself. I knew the chick had no idea of what she was suggesting. She was corny as ish. But cool as hell. I knew she didn't mean it and was just being sweet. Girls like her were like that. They were just nice.
Yeah, we like nice girls.
Everybody will say, nice girls ain't no fun.
I don't know about
That's what they say.
I don't know about that. Yeah. Have you ever dated someone who had a very different background to you? What was that like? Because just for the context of the story, like Isaac is one who grew up in the hood. Kennedy is like the typical middle class background. And so there's a lot, the reason why he was struggling, because there's a lot about his life that she wouldn't understand. That he knows she wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
So what was that like, if you ever had the experience of dating somebody like with a very different background?
No, when it comes to backgrounds, no. Because I guess, how will I put it? We came from the same backgrounds. Neither means, grew up normal, but I was never a troublesome guy, and I am not into troublesome girls. So I would always be with more or less good girls. And the where the differences came in is that I would say that I grew up in the hood. And when you grow up in the hood, you have hood friends who do hood things. And the girls I've been around, they did not know anything about that.
Okay.
So they never had those experiences.
Right.
So it was interesting trying to educate them on knowing that, hey, this is what could happen in certain situations. That's why I don't do certain things.
Right.
Because as I would have advised folks, there are monsters out there. And you would never even know it. They'll be walking right next to you and never know. Boy, they take to the wolf, the sheep herder. Yeah, they would not believe. So, yeah. So it was more in relationships, it was relationships of education.
Okay, well, I think my experience is similar to yours, but my takeaway was a little bit different in that, yeah, again, when you're young and you're naive and you're stupid, you just, for me, was about trying to fit into his view. And I was like, at one point in time, I kept myself like, sis, this is not you. Like, this is not you. Like, what are you trying to do? This is not you. Why? How we end up here? You know? So I had to catch myself. I think you would never find somebody with the exact same background. I mean, maybe, perhaps. But yes, there are some differences, but to me, the differences can't be too far off. Because otherwise, I think one party might feel like they have to over-compromise in order for them to find alignment somehow, you know? So that was, I mean, I'm grateful for all my experiences because to me, that was like, all right. So yeah, from the outside, we could seem very similar, but when you get into like that person's day-to-day life, it could be very, very different. And yeah, I don't want to meet you like all the way over now, you know?
Yeah, it's all a matter of compatibility and meeting on behalf, knowing that, hey, this person not exactly how I grew up. They don't know exactly how I grew up, but they understand.
Right.
They have an understanding of it. And as you say, they're not too far left.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not hard for them to adapt, or for you to adapt to their lifestyle and they to adapt to yours.
Yeah. I'm chuckling on the inside because past Flo would be like, would have read that and say, I've been drawn to the bad guy persona that Isaac has here. I'd be like, danger.
Watch yourself.
Exactly. But no more. I've grown up. I've learned my lesson.
Yeah, remember, now is a totally different kind of time. Being drawn to the bad boy could be a bit detrimental.
You're telling me? Wait.
Yeah.
Okay, so Joe, I'm not going to touch you. You could just be from here. Yeah?
Okay, let's see. He handed her. This is Isaac.
Yeah. This is from Isaac's perspective, but the he speaking about is actually Kennedy's father.
Oh, okay. He handed her a PNC bank envelope filled with cash. I knew stacks when I saw them. When it exchanged hands, I saw a little man in the window. Say, thank you, Daddy. She told the little boy. He looked to be younger than my son, Martin. Well, thank you, Daddy. She purred to Willie before giving him another kiss on his mouth. He made it to the parkway in complete silence before he spoke again. I'd been too caught up in my head to even feel uncomfortable about the quiet. I needed it. Coming from my hood, I saw infidelity all the time, more times than I'd seen families together like the Armstrongs. Ish. I cheated before and I had been cheated on, but it wasn't something I expected from this family, this man. No, Kennedy doesn't know, and neither does her mother. Willie had finally answered. His face remained ahead like mine.
So the story here in DC. Basically, Isaac just witnessed Kennedy's father paying or giving his baby's mother money. Kennedy has no idea that her papa got another kid by another woman. Neither does Kennedy's mama.
Dual family.
Exactly. So, do you agree with keeping a secret about your partner's family from your partner? Like, if you were in Isaac, please, like, how would you treat that?
No. I would. Well, you made a mistake as far as you would have seen at the time, because if you kept it a secret and you're just taking care of the child, and you want to keep the family you have at home intact, that means you have realized it was a mistake. But with mistakes come consequences. So you have to deal with it. And so it's better that you just man up.
But if you were Isaac, would you tell Kennedy, hey, Kennedy, like, I've got a secret to tell you. Like, I know your pops and I, like, we went on this ride because we were trying to get to know one another. And he kind of introduced me to this chick and his son.
Well, in a situation like that, that is none of my business. None.
So you wouldn't tell Kennedy?
I am not telling Kennedy anything. That is his father's choice. Her father's choice. If he wanted to tell her, he would have told her. He didn't give me a message. So I am not going to tell her. I have never seen anything. I don't know who the child is. I don't know the woman. I knows nothing.
Okay, so then I hear you want to understand the desire to sort of keep the peace in that instance, right? As you would say, it's none of your business or whatever, right? But say, for instance, Kennedy finds out later on down the road, and she also finds out that you knew all along but didn't say.
I'm sorry, Kennedy, I was not there at the time I went to the toilet. I knows nothing.
No, but she finds out, it's confirmed that you met this woman before and the child, and
I have no idea who these people are. I am going down till the end. I do not know who these people are. I do not know what the man did with this woman or this child. I have no idea. None.
You would see nothing.
Nothing. I saw nothing. It is none of my business. I am not going to report. Hey, Kennedy, I see your father give a woman money for a child. Or what? I have no idea. That is none of my business.
Okay, and the reason why I bring it up, because, I mean, granted, the example that I've experienced personally is not about me and my partner in a relationship, but it's like a family member, right? And you know the family member doing wrong. And it's like, well, do you say that to the family member's partner? Like, hey, you should check so and so because, well, I noticed X, Y, and Z, till this, or just like, as you say, that's none of your business.
No, well, it is family.
But Isaac was speaking to Kennedy's father, like he was chilling with Kennedy's father.
Yes, what is Kennedy to him?
That's the chick he wanna be with.
Right, and who is he? That's her father. That is their business. That is I'm not interfering with that.
Okay.
It's not to say I saw that is my father, and I saw him giving a woman money for a child.
So then you could tell him.
So I'll tell my mother.
Yeah.
But no, I am the outsider in this family.
Okay.
Because that will cause a big resentment. Because when I go tell Kennedy, and she confront her father, and women have the tendency, or people have the tendency to say, Joe say,
yeah,
he saw you do.
Yeah.
You understand? Okay. So now the father hates me, I disrupting the family now, the mother and the husband. Whatever happened, they probably living happily ever after now. And I come and disturb this whole thing. I can't watch your father in the eye again because you can't trust me.
Okay.
So this is a bad outcome all the way. So to preserve my sanity is Ray Charles.
Blind us.
So nothing.
I get what you're saying. I get trying to seek the peace, but listen to me. I think I would stop interacting with the family member. Like, cause I know me, I would not be able to hush up about it. I may not necessarily tell the family member's partner, but like, every time that family member come around, in my head is like, yeah, so and so boy. So I wouldn't be able to like deal with that person straight up. So for me, I would just avoid the family member. Cause like, how do you do that? Like, why?
No idea the father didn't say, hey, Isaac, this is my outside lady.
He did. You just read that.
Right.
And he said Kennedy doesn't know, so I want you to keep it to yourself.
Yes. I am telling you, he told me, not touching me. He didn't tell me nothing.
Hey, I thought you sounded like Shaggy, yeah? It wasn't me, and I don't know.
No. You're not catching up working with me. He did not tell me that is his outside, madam, and his outside picnic. That has nothing to do with it. He did not tell me a thing. I knows nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
But I hear you.
He could say, well, but you can ask him. He was there. I was not there, sir. I went to the bathroom. I saw nothing. Do not ask me. I am not getting in family affairs.
I hear you.
At the end of the day, I am the outsider. They only will mend their stuff.
Because they're related.
Yes. And I would be the outsider.
Okay.
You know, so, yeah. To each his own. Let they handle their business.
I hear you. And I can't fault you for that because so many times we've seen people trying to do the right thing and they end up doing the wrong end of the stick.
Oh, sure.
All right. Well, Joe Clary, what he said, he got all excited here. So let's simmer things down in our next segment. Thing to eat, Joe.
Thing to eat. Well, today on Thing to Eat, we have something sweet.
Something sweet?
Yes. So, remember back in the day, even now, on Sunday, we have a lovely glass or cone of coconut ice cream. Fresh. Nice. Your best ice cream. Just think about it. You don't have to think coconut. Think of your favorite flavor of ice cream. And what would you have to complement this ice cream?
Cake.
Kind of cake.
Chocolate. Like what other kind is there?
Double fudge chocolate.
Once it chocolate, that's what we like.
That's it. Chocolate cake.
Yeah.
Okay. Me personally, I would have a warm brownie.
More than rich and thick. And sometimes that is
rich and thick and chocolate.
Alright.
Bring about memories there, folks.
Yeah, getting into that, boy.
Yeah, I would have a freshly baked warm brownie.
Okay.
You'll have to.
Yeah. Frosting, not icing.
It's frosting. Yeah, both don't like ice. Yeah. So yeah, that would be it. A lovely cut of my grandmother's homemade coconut ice cream.
That was awesome.
It was awesome. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome by yourself. But anyway.
Bruh.
Yeah, I'm a coconut fan.
Why you hate it when you saw what's up, boy?
Yeah.
That's thing indigenous to the Caribbean.
Yes, it is. But yeah, and soursop becomes scarce because it seemed like it's a superfood now, fights cancer and these things. So that's a different story for another day.
Yeah, well, for you.
So yeah, it would be a warm brownie and Flo would be having chocolate cake. I'm having coconut, he's having soursop. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, as always, before we do an episode, we have to check in, make sure the tanks are filled. So what's still your love tank this week?
What's still my love tank this week? My love tank that's filled with the same things actually. I mean, having you there with me, the conversations, laugh, seeing you laugh. Yeah, I enjoy that. The simplest little things, just saying hello. Hi, Adele. Yeah. Who is it?
It's me.
Yeah.
Hello. Oh. It is I, Flo.
Yeah, folks, you could probably guess how old we are.
Whatever.
All these reminiscences. So, Flo, what fills your love tank this week?
Ooh, I know we were talking about relatives just now, but I just want to thank you for sharing your mama with me.
I want to thank my mama for sharing me with you.
That too. Well, I started off the year saying thank you. That's what I said in the very first day of the year. But I really, really, really appreciate, the fact that I have that good relationship. I know that oftentimes you are the the go-between. Hey, give mama this for me, or mama say give Flo this for me.
Yeah, and I'm always the one taking the brunt of everything. Like, hey, don't get in between that. Yeah, for me, I'm the messenger, but I can't get in between that. Yeah.
So thank you for being the facilitator. Thank you. Yes.
You are most welcome.
All right, folks. We hope you enjoyed this conversation and laughter with us today. Thank you for listening to the Journey to Forever podcast. You can connect with us on Instagram at Journey to Forever TT. Also, be sure to subscribe to the podcast on whatever app you're listening to this episode on. If you happen to be listening on Apple Podcasts, we would appreciate a 5-star review. Until next time, remember that love is a journey, not a destination. And the fuel that keeps you going is communication. So be sure to share and discuss this episode with someone you love.
Nice, folks. See you all next week. Bye.